Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Moneyline Madness podcast. We are back with some Week 17 NFL football bets. I am Matt Cherrick alongside my boy Andy B. Andy, big week in football, a lot of playoff implications, a lot of get in if you win, you're out if you lose type of scenarios. Packers standpoint, big playoff day for you especially, and Giants win and they get in. So, how are you feeling going into today's slate?
A little nervous. I mean, everybody who's not in, obviously you're nervous. I mean, maybe the Giants aren't nervous because the Giants have a lot to lose, obviously, but they can't lose today. I don't have them losing today. I don't think they're going to lose today. They're playing a pretty bad. But
Happy New Year, Double R. Yes,
you're
sir.
a team like the Packers, you're a team like the Commanders. You're nervous today. There's no doubt you're nervous today. This is big stuff. I mean, I'm obviously nervous. This was not what I expected when the season started. I expected to be a lot better of a team. And I think we can beat Minnesota. I think we can beat Detroit. But once they get on the field, that's all that matters. So anything's possible. So a very nerve-wracking day. Unless you're Double R, obviously.
Yeah, no, he's kind of chilling, sitting back. I think they slap around the Saints today, to be honest. He says, I'm rooting for Jordan Love.
Yeah, you better root for him.
That's real.
Sitting on the bench.
That's real. Honestly, you were talking about the Washington Commanders, and we may as well kick this off with our bets because I'm taking a bet in that game. And straight up, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns money line. I can't even lie to you. Okay. I mean, I saw, you know what? I was looking at that, and I was like, at that point, I'm taking the plus money line.
I like it.
And my thought process, Carson Wentz. I mean, come on. Like, what more needs to be said? It's Carson Wentz. He blows. Washington Commanders at home. Ron Rivera is notoriously horrid whenever he is at home.
Terrible.
That plus you're playing honestly, everyone else knows it's your worst quarterback of the two. I'm rolling with the Deshaun Watson and the Browns in this scenario.
I find it very fascinating they're going back to Carson. I don't like when you bench a guy and then you have to go crawling back to the guy. Like, he's not good. So I'm with you 100%. I'll move mine to the money line too because I like that. Cleveland out of playoff contention doesn't scare me at all.
They got nothing to lose though. Yeah,
but Deshaun Watson hasn't played well yet. So he's got to go out there and prove to his guys now, like, hey, I'm still that guy. I might be a little rusty right now, but I'm going to figure it out. So, that game fascinates me. I think it's one of the better games in the 1 o'clock hour because the Commanders are playing for everything. The Browns are playing for nothing.
And is that wrong? Like, I get where Double R's coming from. Like, the Cleveland's out of playoff contention. Washington is fighting for something here. Is it bad that I'm just looking at it as like even fighting for something with Carson Wentz? I feel like he's just not like he's that bad to me. Like, I respect. I feel like he hasn't really earned it either. So that's tough. That's tough. He's very close to losing his name rights, honestly. And if this, I would say, bad game today, he's not getting his name.
No, we're never saying his name. I mean, we might never have to say his name again because if he doesn't have a good game today, he might never be on a roster.
He's gonna be playing in the CFL. That's true. That is very true.
He'll be the backup quarterback to Stetson Bennett in the USFL next year.
Chills. Honestly, chills. All right. So what else you got? Because 1 o'clock games are going to be kicking off in 15 minutes. So anything from those games that you were liking for today?
In the 1 o'clock game, there's not much value in it, I guess. But the minus 164 on the Falcons money line, I like that. That was Friday, so I don't know what it is now if you have it up in front of you. But minus 164 at the time. I like the Giants. I mean the Falcons in that one. Cardinals aren't playing for anything either. The Falcons still technically have a shot, I believe.
Yeah, I mean they're minus 300 right now. I think some of the injuries definitely skewed that a little bit for you. But if you were able to hop in when you hopped in,
we got 164 over here, so I like that. Like, look, the Cardinals are terrible, and the Buccaneers kind of proved they were terrible too because they played a close game with them. But the Cardinals are terrible too. So who is it? Is it Colt McCoy back? I think he's back.
It is Colt McCoy.
Oh yeah,
Colt McCoy is back up there.
So, that's a
sharing
game
this
I'm looking at, Falcons
on the Facebook real quick. Tune in for all your Week 17.
Yeah, there's some good. I mean, there's a lot of games today that are kind of one-sided, right? One team needs something, the other team doesn't. But teams want to play spoiler. Guys are fighting for jobs, and that's the way this goes. So.
Yeah, the Eagles did almost lose to the Cardinals. And honestly, that's the one thing that we've been saying with the Eagles. Like,
they play down to their competition.
They've been playing down to their competition. We saw it with the Texans. Like, it is what it is.
Everybody's been playing down to the Texans.
So are they terrible too? Are the Eagles terrible? I mean, I don't know. I don't think the Eagles are as much of a powerhouse as everyone's making them out to be. I definitely think that. I think they have a great defense.
They're really good.
They're really good, but they're human. There's one team that I think has nothing to lose, and I think that's a Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're undisputed right now with Patrick Mahomes and his playoff history. I just don't know how you can doubt the guy as being the best right now, So yeah, that is true. Minshew mania, and we got a D-Hop anytime TD. I got a little anytime TD for you prop today that I was looking at. I'm going to be riding with Travis Etienne going up against the Houston Texans. Obviously, this is a win and get in scenario for the Jags. I think they're going to be scratching and clawing for this W. I don't think necessarily it's going to be a shootout between the two teams, but we know how teams run against this Houston defense. They're literally the worst in the league, one of the worst rushing defenses in the past decade, truthfully. So I'm taking an Etienne anytime touchdown for plus money, plus 110. I really like this play, and I think the Jags are going to take this one today and sneak in the playoffs.
You see how much he struggled by it falling back to plus money for his anytime touchdown. I'm sure there's a lot of people in fantasy channels.
And I'm jumping on it personally. Yeah, I'm going to be jumping on that one for sure.
Because he is a guy when they get to the 2-3 yard line, he's always getting the ball. So
yeah,
Trevor Lawrence is active playing today. That was something they weren't sure about.
Major news.
And they need. They don't need to win. We talked about this the other day.
What?
For some reason, their game means nothing today. So
the Jaguars?
Yeah, no.
What are you talking about?
So the way that it went was like the Titans and Jaguars. Their games this week meant nothing. They just have to play next week. The winner goes to the playoffs. I don't know how that works. Well,
yeah, I was gonna say I thought the Jags were still. I'm not sure, but
no, but like they could lose
left.
It comes down to next week.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know how.
I guess because they're the Texans, but all right. I'm taking my anytime prop anyways, just because.
We have not talked about that yet.
We have not talked about that yet, and this was just absolute blasphemy. And I was gonna say I think the Jags need to win. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Jags need to win. Just because I don't know. I've been hearing conspiracies. A lot of people on the Jaguars just because they need to win, and they've been in this dog spot. Not that they're underdogs necessarily in this game, but they're underdogs from a playoff standpoint. And I really like them to at least put up a fight. We see Trevor Lawrence. He's always a second half guy coming out and slinging the rock in the second half. So honestly, I'm looking for a first half Etienne score.
Let me explain it real quick. I'll do it real quick.
Okay.
They are 7-8. The Titans are 7-9.
Fair.
If they lose, they're both 7-9. Obviously, they're tied. But because the Titans beat them earlier in the year, and I think there's another way that they beat the Titans have the tiebreaker. So if Jacksonville wins and they're 8-8, it doesn't matter. They can't clinch. Because if they lose next week, then they're out. So they can't do anything today. They play the game. It means nothing. They have to win next week. That's why it works that way.
But the thing is, they're not looking to lose.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if it comes down to it, in the end of the game, and they need to win next week, they're not going to push guys, right? Like that's kind of what the Titans
I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
this is the regular season of the NFL. I'm still pushing my guys to win me a football game, dude.
I don't know. The Titans did it.
If it comes down to it, the Titans did it because they're laying literally on a platter.
They did it. They were terrible. By the way,
you're not seeing.
Screw Josh Dobbs.
You're going to see at the end of this Jaguars game, they're just like, fuck it, we're pulling Trevor Lawrence, we're pulling Zay Jones.
No, I'm not saying they're poor guys, but I think that you'll see Etienne get less carries, but I still think he gets in the end zone. I think they'll limit guys. Zay Jones didn't play great last week anyway, so maybe he's going to need to bounce back, but I think they'll limit guys because that game, like I said, means nothing for them. For Houston, it doesn't either, but sometimes that just doesn't matter. There's money to be made. There's things to do, things that can happen. So, but I found that a very weird scenario that their games this week meant literally nothing for playoff. It's so rare.
Odd. Jalen Hurts is my quarterback for fantasy, and Lawrence is my backup. That's tough because Jalen Hurts, honestly, if I didn't win the BFFL championship the week that I had won, I would have been so screwed, man. I would have been so screwed out of Jalen Hurts, So
also, I have Lawrence as a backup, and
What's going on? A little long night last night. I feel. What was that you were saying, Andy? You had
Lawrence is probably one of the better backups in fantasy. I know a lot. I have him. I had a devastating loss in the semifinal last week, but if I would have started him, I would have won. But yeah, he's been a really good backup. So that's not a terrible. Jalen Hurts is obviously Jalen Hurts, but not terrible to have Trevor Lawrence.
No, not by any means. And the best scenario for New York Giants is if the Eagles win today. And because you don't want to see Jalen Hurts next week after he carved us up.
I think he's going to start regardless, but I don't think he'll play much.
He's not going to finish it.
Yeah, he's just going to play like a half, maybe a quarter. Because they're not going to let him sit 4 weeks.
And honestly, sadly, that might be all it takes for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles against the Giants is one half of football. So, we'll see. All right.
Well,
Anything
it
else?
was
1
last
o'clock
time.
wise? That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, you were right.
You didn't have to kick me while I was already kicking
I have
myself.
to.
But
this might be the
anything
last
else?
I care about the NFL. So.
That is true. 1 o'clock games. What else do you like?
1 o'clock game's not great. I like the Giants today. I mean that was obvious. I said that, but I like more of the 4 o'clock game. I like one. I'm heavy on it. This is an appealing one. 49ers. I had it at -10. I don't know what it is now. I think. Look, Jarrett Stidham's never started an NFL game. When he's been in games, he hasn't been great.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Derek Carr. He's gone. Devontae's not used to this guy. None of those guys are used to this guy. I think it's going to be ugly. I think
We're
the 49ers
are Purdy a 10-point spread.
Yeah, but the 49ers are kind of playing for something. They want the 2 seed. I'm going to be clear. They want the 2 seed more than the Vikings want the 2 seed. The Vikings don't want to play the Packers if they sneak in. The Niners will be fine playing it. And I think technically they're playing for the 1 seed, but I mean, that's a long shot, obviously. But yeah, so the Niners are still playing for something, and they want to kick the crap out of Vegas. Because the Vegas is not a good team now. I mean, Derek Carr was bad anyway, so they were bad with him.
Yeah, but
imagine what they're going to be with no passing game. It's going to be Josh Jacobs show. I like that today, but
that's what I think. I think the wheels are going to fall off. People are going to figure him out, right? Like,
I think it'll be in the playoffs.
So good, but yeah, it could be.
I don't think it'll be Vegas.
It's just like, how far can Kyle Shanahan stretch this like magical, Brock Purdy run, and how much can he get out of his teammates? But Jimmy G is way
better,
beyond the prospect that Brock Purdy was. I mean, Jimmy G wasn't Mr. Irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, Brock Purdy was drafted where he was drafted for a reason, and it's not just like, oh, people missed out on this guy. Like, he's not Tom Brady. It just, he ain't. But I think the wheels are going to fall off eventually. Might not be today. Might not be even the first round. Double R thinks it could be the second round.
Well, if they get lucky enough to draw us, they're the luckiest team on it, because they will beat us to a pulp, because the Niners are
they just have your number.
The Packers,
it's just
that's what they're praying for.
Yep. All right, I got another prop for you. I'm going Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions over 52.5 for this total. This is just 2 not great, but like not horrific, because like the Bears are playing decent football offense.
The Bears are one of the better four-win teams I've ever seen. They're a good team. I mean, they're going to compete.
Yeah, and I think today they're just, with the defense of the Lions being as lackluster as it's been the past like month and a half, but their offense being as explosive as it's been the past month and a half, I see this easily going over 51.5 or 52.5. So I think this one's just going to be, like Double R is saying, it could be a shootout. Like, not that Justin Fields is going to be slinging rock, but he could be running all over.
He's going to be running all over the place on that team.
And so, I might have to rock the Justin Fields jersey. I did get one for Christmas.
Damn right he did. He gets his name back, and he has a jersey. You're going to have to wear that one. You'll wear that next week, because it's the last time we're going to see him for a long time.
When he breaks the record,
the Bears are.
I think he could rush for 100+ yards today, honestly. And honestly, while we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and click on that prop and see what I could get for some odds real quick. Rushing props on Justin Fields sitting at 76.5. I think I'm hitting the over. Truthfully, he went under last week heavily.
Yeah, he had a rough game last week. He only had 9 points in fantasy. Did get a touchdown call back, I think, last week. That was rough, but.
Let me interest you in the 2-legger of over 52.5 and Justin Fields over 76.5 for plus 235.
I like that. I think both are gonna hit very. I don't know if 76 is going to hit easily, but I think the 52.5 will hit easily.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game.
I agree.
The Bears defense isn't great either. I mean, it used to be their strong suit, but it's not very good.
I agree.
The running backs on the Lions scare me. If I'm anybody, the Lions running backs right now, that running back room is one of the better in the NFL that's left over. They've got strong goal line backs. They've also got DeAndre Swift, who's faster than probably a lot of other running backs in the league right now.
A lot of people. Yep. And F the Bears is.
I think he's faster than
here. I don't know. That's close. It's close. We'll have to see. And it's straight up, I don't know. Good night's sleep. You got your, Wheaties in. We'll see. But all right, let's go back, because I don't know. You have anything else on the NFL that you wanted to tap into today?
No, I think the one thing about the Sunday night game, I'm taking Ravens money line, but I'm curious about how that game's going to go. Ravens are playing for a lot.
Yeah.
They're still playing for their division somehow.
Yeah. I don't know. This game being at 8 o'clock, like, they should have flexed this with you guys, truthfully.
They flexed it into 8
Oh,
o'clock.
really?
I
Wow.
thought we were going to get flexed into it. So I thought that was weird. But
Yeah.
I'm happy with the time the Packers play because I know I'm not going to be able to stay awake very late tonight because everybody was up late last night. But I'm cool with the way the Packers are playing. And Lambeau in the daytime.
That's actually a good point. People might be going to sleep by the time that tonight's
People
game
are going
comes
back to
around.
work tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Today's a
sorry, not
recovery
most.
day, Oh, yeah, that's true. That will be the first. But all right, I didn't like anything in that game either.
No, it's not a great game.
At your game, honestly, not that I'm betting on your game, but just because I looked at it and I told myself, I'm definitely not betting on this game. Looking as you guys are underdogs, -178. I don't like the value of that considering how good the Vikings are. Like, I think you guys win. Don't get me wrong. But
I do too.
-170, like there's no value there. You know what I mean? Like I honestly think at like +150, if say you guys go up 3 and all of a sudden that +150 on the Vikings turns to like plus 185 to 200, that might be worth a sprinkle of something live just because we've seen the Vikings fight back. I mean, in multiple games this season.
Yes, I think they've played. We saw the score in the beginning of the year. Different teams, obviously. I think the Packers are going to be playing a lot better. It's very rare. Packers were underdogs last week at like +250, I think it was, against an 8-7 team, right? 8-6 team, playing a division winner already, and they are favorites. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah,
they are money, it's very rare that happens, but that's just the way they're playing. Packers offense is playing well. The defense stinks. I'm not gonna look. I've figured out the offense is pretty good. The defense stinks. The only way Packers are winning games, they score over 30 points. They're going to start slow. Justin Jefferson's probably going to have a great game. But if they can do what they did to Tua last week.
My thought process is that the Packers are going to try and take away Justin Jefferson and make somebody else beat them. I think that
what they need to do, but it's very difficult.
I agree. I mean, I think that today, like I had a friend ask me, he was like, do I play Adam Thielen in fantasy? He just gave me a stinker last week. And I'm like, I think Adam Thielen could put one in the end zone today, just being that they're trying to take away Justin Jefferson that heavily. I think that if you guys do fall, or if the Vikings offense does get rolling, I think it's going to be because of Dalvin Cook, because of Adam Thielen, and maybe even Hawkinson. Honestly, Hawkinson, his run there has been pretty lackluster these past few weeks.
Yeah, he had a good game.
He had that one good game.
What was the
game?
That
was it against the Giants, and the Giants are just known to give up. Yeah, the Giants are known to give up points like that to tight ends. Like that was expected. But you take out that outlier of a Giants game, he hasn't been great for Minnesota at all.
We thought they had the corners to do it. Apparently they don't. Let's not play soft coverage today. Maybe that'll be smart.
We'll see. We will definitely see. But all right. Anything else Sunday slate before we get into this college football playoffs?
No, I think we should wrap it up with a little celebration.
Yeah, you may as well, sound the trumpets. Hit any button that you want to hit.
What I got?
All right.
How about that? Maybe that.
Georgia
I don't know.
Bulldogs advance.
Georgia. Oh yeah.
Obviously, you guys are going to be moving on to the national championship, playing against TCU.
Who would have thought?
Coming in as 13.5-point favorites off rip, -600 money line. Andy B, does TCU move you by any means? Do they give you chills? Are you a little nervous of a Cinderella story here? What's your take as a Georgia fan?
Yes, I don't think we cover. That's my early reaction to it. I don't think we cover. That's a high number for a team. TCU played their best game the other day, yesterday against Michigan. We'll get it. I want to get into that, but man, that TCU team can score. So, and the way Georgia's defense played yesterday, it looks like anybody could score on them. So, it's going to be a close, high-scoring game, a lot like the games yesterday, where that TCU team does scare me. Max Duggan, obviously, last college game ever, probably last football game ever. Go put your heart on the line, and I mean that's what Stetson did last year. It's what he's going to do this year. It's going to be a scrappy game. It's going to be fun to watch, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think there's this game where Georgia wins by 3 touchdowns. I don't think that exists. As big of a fan as I am, that team looked terrible yesterday. Stole it at the end. That's how it went.
And I mean, we want to talk about, not stealing it at the end. Holy God. The Ohio State kick.
I bless that kid. Oh
wow! Hold on, I want to bring it in here just because we need to see this one again. This is insanity here, just because what was going on? I've never in my life seen a kick this bad. I don't think ever. Truthfully, have you seen a kick as bad as last night's Ohio State kick with something
No, that
on
was
the
rough.
line like
That
that.
was rough.
So, I mean, look at this, guys. Like, what is going on here? There was not a shot. Not a
Love
shot.
Stetson. This is what I say to that.
His dream, kicking for
I mean, look at this. Like, honestly, I was a little nervous for you.
Oh,
Because
dude,
last
I have the
last
video.
year we
I'll post
saw
it.
But holy. Like, talk about a sigh of relief.
Oh.
Just from the side of George. I mean, I've never seen anything like that.
I have the video.
in my life.
We will play it tomorrow. I'll send it to you. We'll play it tomorrow. I have the video of us all celebrating, everybody that was at my house, and it led right into the countdown. It was very funny, actually. So
It did.
yeah,
and
we'll have that tomorrow.
that's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe that, honestly.
Oh, it was
And
amazing.
I feel bad for CJ Stroud because you saw the camera instantly pan over to him, and like, what can you even react?
He
to?
did everything. CJ Stroud did everything. He
What-
did everything he could.
Like, what the?
Yeah.
Like, what? Hello? What are we doing? I mean, I know in the college football, especially in the playoffs, like, you really don't kick like that unless it's a situation like this.
No.
But
51 yards is very
God.
long in college.
Good God, that was just
Yeah.
the worst kick I think I've ever seen in my life by a long shot.
And he's a good
Congratulations,
kicker, which
man.
is why it's unfortunate.
Yeah. What? Okay. So now I had seen something that said that he was the kicker for Utah last year.
Yeah.
And he had hit a 51-yarder.
Yeah, he's a great kicker.
Like,
It was just an unfortunate situation. They were on the wrong hash mark. That's not his hash. They lost yards. They had a chance to gain yards. They lost it and then threw incomplete passes. Almost threw an interception. Would never
Yeah.
have shot. It was really bad play calling by a terrible coach who just got that job handed to him. And Ryan Day is
Wow.
a terrible coach. And
rip into him real quick.
I hate him. I mean, truthfully, he's a terrible coach. He did a terrible job yesterday in the fourth quarter. He did great the first 3 quarters. Totally fucked that kicker. That kicker, it is not their fault they lost that game. That should have been a 38-yard field goal. It turned into a 51-yard field goal. So, yeah, that was a rough one.
That's
I
really
feel
tough.
bad for that kid because 51 is tough in college. Georgia had their kicker was missing 48. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it was not easy to kick yesterday. So,
100%.
even in a dome, rough game. It was rough. There's only one team I really want to talk about a little bit before we get off, and that's Michigan.
I was just gonna say Michigan kind of got away unscathed, just being that the kick was so bad last night.
They
Like,
got away
everyone's
with it.
forgetting, they played awful football, and
Yeah.
they looked good the opening drive. I was sitting here watching that first drive, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
TCU is in for a long
Oh, yeah.
hit. Like, Michigan started carving up early, and I was like, oh, Harbaugh, like, he tapped in today. And then they just came out. Their defense looked so just awful, on their heels, just tired. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let them out. I'm not gonna let them out of it. They should be embarrassed they lost that game. That was their style of play. That was their game, and they lost it. Their quarterback had a great game. Took some shit interceptions. It happens, but that played their game, and TCU just punched them in the mouth. I mean, it looked early like they were gonna beat them, and just over and over again with Michigan. It happened last year. They get to the big game and they can't do it. Beating Ohio State isn't enough for them. They beat Ohio State. They got where they wanted to get, and they still failed miserably. So that's on them. Michigan, that's just in their program. That's the way that they've been run. That's Harbaugh. I hate to be that guy. That's how they play now. They choke in the big game. It's unfortunate. I'm not saying anybody else should have gotten in the playoff. The playoff was perfect. No matter how the national championship goes, it was perfect. Those games were amazing. But that's Michigan. That's the way they play now. They have to prove they can win it. They're just like us last year. Georgia hadn't proved they could win the big game. Now Michigan has to prove it. Next year, they have to come in, light a fire under their ass, and win the national championship, because the fact that they lost yesterday was shameful. And that's on Jim Harbaugh. So that was rough. I was
letting up 51 points to TCU's offense. I mean, not that TCU's offense is awful, but when you give them 250 rushing yards, I mean, come on. The rushing game of TCU is the worst part of that offense. I mean, we came in.
Their starting running back got hurt in the game, and they're back about 138 yards.
Yeah, no, 150 with the tutty.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, that's embarrassing.
I came on and I talked about Quentin Johnston and just how good I think he's going to be in the NFL. And then he comes out 163 yards and a touchdown on 6 catches. Like, that was dominance.
That was great receivers yesterday.
Yep.
2 great, because Marvin Harrison Jr.
Really got
knocked out. He looked incredible. So I was for Michigan. I mean, look, the story of it all is going to be the fact Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett have a chance to do something very rare. Guys who were backups come in and win the national title. Obviously, for Stetson, it would be. I'm just going to say this: Stetson Bennett would be the greatest college quarterback statistically of all time if he wins on next Monday, because that is 2 national titles for a walk-on who was a backup. Georgia gave him no shot. That would be the greatest story in college history if he wins it next Monday. Obviously, I hope he does. But Max Duggan, too, that would be a great story, too. But the big takeaway yesterday was the fact Michigan, they are a bunch of choke artists. And Ohio State is, too, until they prove otherwise. So, yeah, that was rough. I was pretty mad yesterday about that. I wanted to play Michigan, if you couldn't tell.
Yep. And honestly, I think if there's, one thing from a betting standpoint that we could take away going into this national championship is to smack the over. I mean,
it's going to be near
over.
It's going to be near. It's near 63, I think, right now.
Right now, I was going to say it might end up near 70. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 68 point,
and it'll hit. It'll be a 45, 44 type game. Like, that'll be a close one. So that'll be exciting. That's
what a random thought to add in at the end there. I respect it. That's for Ernest.
Alabama won yesterday. That was a big game. They won that one. So good for them.
That was a good W for them, especially because they were down early. Kansas State was looking good. The offense was flowing.
Anybody who had Kansas State plus 7.5 was not happy.
No, you got hooked pretty bad. That's just a GG's. But Georgia wins by 2 scores. We
will talk about it plenty that day.
Yeah, we're going to be
there's no Monday Night Football that day. That's the game we're going to talk about. It's going to be fun.
We're going to do a special that day. Maybe we'll bring in a couple guests. We'll talk some ball.
Damn right we will.
Hell yeah.
Special.
Hell yeah. But, all right, anything else you want to add in for today?
No, it's a good episode. It's going to be a good day of football. Let's go Packers, right?
Good day of football. Hopefully we come back tomorrow night. Both of our teams are, hopefully you guys win, and then hopefully we're looking, at a playoff clinching scenario later today.
Yeah.
But that's a good dog emoji, honestly. It looks good. A little bulldog, you see that?
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
Damn right.
Should I hit a little
Nice.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
We're going to be back tomorrow. Like we said, Monday Night Football, probably talking some more NBA. Last week, I don't know if you saw my tweet, Andy. I went 6-0 on my NBA.
Damn right you did.
I was fucking smacking those out of the park. Came on here and brought them on. We hit a Giannis double-double and a win for plus 110. We hit a KD 30-plus and a win for plus 125. We hit 2 overs. We hit, we were rolling just through all these props. The Zubac rebounds were hit. Unfortunately, the parlay with the Celtics got hooked by half a point. I don't know if you recall that. It was 6.5.
I didn't know you took that. Oh.
Yeah, so I taken Zubac. And then I was like, you know what? You had mentioned the Celtics spread, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let's add that for a little lay. But we got hooked by half a point on that.
Damn
but every other NBA play, all our NBA straights have cashed 6-0 on those last week. So we're rolling into football today with a hot hand, and hopefully we can come out with some money. And yeah, like I said, we will be back tomorrow. So appreciate you for tapping in. Double R as always. Whoever this was, Eda Frank. We will catch you guys tomorrow night. Peace.
Oh yeah. Go Pack, go.